merangkap pengarah Institut Rakyat Yang Berhormat Puan Nurul Izzah Anwar dan pakar ekonomis Saudara Azrul Azwar. Jadi seterusnya, tanpa membuang masa, majlis ingin menjemput Yang Berhormat Puan Nurul Izzah Anwar bagi mengiringi Saudara Azrul Azwar untuk ke atas pentas bagi membentangkan hasil perbincangan meja bulat mengenai pelaburan negara China di Malaysia yang dianjurkan oleh Institut Rakyat pada bulan Mei yang lepas. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and a very good evening to everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Since we are really focusing on two different parts tonight, so the first will be filled up by myself and Saudara Azrul Azwar. I would really like to ask all of you to give a round of applause first and foremost for Professor K.S. Jomo, who's here. He will continue the second panel together with Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad, and he has travelled to Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Chinese Assembly Hall using the monorail today. No breakdowns, and so far it's been going well. Div-div kehormat yang saya muliakan daripada semua kedutaan, teman-teman yang dihormati yang sudi menghadiri sesi forum sidang meja bulat kita pada hari ini. Dan juga rakyat Malaysia yang mendahagakan kebenaran dan juga akses kepada maklumat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam reformasi. Saya pada awalnya akan memulakan pembentangan saya, and I hope this will be made in bilingually. Tetapi memandangkan kita pada awalnya 17 Mei tahun ini telah dalam rangkaian di bawah panduan Institut Rakyat mengadakan sidang meja bulat berkait dengan kesan pelaburan daripada negara China. Di belakang sana, next. Kalau dilihat daripada sejarah Institut Rakyat, antara pengarahnya termasuklah Dr. Syed Hussein Ali yang bersama kita juga pada malam ini, dan juga Datuk Seri Dato' Wan Izzah Wan Ismail. Kita memulakan perjalanan ini dengan beberapa forum membawakan isu rakyat dan juga keadilan sosial sebagai prinsip utama dalam pembangunan minda dan juga pentadbiran. Kempen Tak Nak Diktator contohnya, kempen yang berlangsung pada Disember 2015 adalah satu contoh di mana kita melibatkan semua badan-badan bukan kerajaan, badan-badan sivil untuk membantah rang undang-undang Majlis Keselamatan Negara. Ketika itu memang diwar-warkan dan hangat diperkatakan sebagai rang undang-undang yang merampas hak rakyat, termasuk yang di-Pertuan Agong dan dinobatkan kepada Perdana Menteri dari segi mendeklarasikan darurat di mana-mana kawasan. Kedua, sudah tentu kita teruskan dengan sebuah forum melibatkan badan-badan seperti International Commission of Jurists, para peguam daripada negara Pakistan dan juga negara Filipina bagi menceritakan, memperincikan sejarah mereka, pengalaman bagi negara-negara tersebut. It is very crucial to understand we have to do our best not to be involved in the new normal. For example, in Pakistan, they highlighted throughout the years, once you agree to a draconian act, you will certainly fall into a lower benchmark where everything that used to be unacceptable became the new normal. That took place in August 2016, and by May 2017, we were lucky enough to have an illustrious group of academics, of economists, to partake in a roundtable session discussing the merits, the benefits, as well as the possible disadvantages from the 143 billion US dollars investments as announced by the Prime Minister from China. We had, and I would quote the names here, the paper of which I will deliberate. This paper can be downloaded online for free from our website. You could also purchase a copy with a small minimal fee as you leave this forum. And we had participating panelists at the closed-door IR roundtable back in May 2017, which include Professor Dr. K.S. Nathan, Professor Dr. K.S. Jomo, of course, Professor Dr. James Chin, retired Ambassador Datuk Rezwan Kushairi, Dr. Johan Savaranamuthu, and Major Jamaluddin Hassan. Makanya, bila masa kita perincikan sidang-sidang meja bulat, dapatkan maklum balas daripada semua. Tonight, as promised, I will unveil the findings of the said paper. But of course, we are going to also, in the second part, for this, as starters, we'll ask Azrul Azwar for his feedback and his opinion. But I think I would really want to present a very balanced approach. We're not anti-China. We are definitely pro-investment. We certainly want Malaysia to prosper, grow, and of course, address our ever-escalating debts accordingly. But by the same token, and I quote Professor Jomo Kwame Sundaram here, no country, including China, should be given a blank check when it comes to providing investments into Malaysia. So, allow me to begin, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you look at Malaysia's top trading partners, I think you can see for China, the growth has been rather astounding, especially from 2009. You look at the numbers for 2010, it stands at 12.55% as part and parcel of our trading regime. In the US was, of course, behind China. China has become a pivotal economic force since then, and by 2016, you see a growth up to 16.23% in terms of trading with us. But of course, if you look into account, the trade value in terms of billions of ringgit Malaysia, from 2009 when the growth started, from 130 billion, it has grown to 240 billion as of 2016. So the MOU signed by Najib, for example, stated it will be up to 143 billion US dollars. And I wanted to basically showcase, this means the Malaysia-bound FDI flows from China showcases the reliance that we have to ensure that development and growth, including the much or oft mentioned ECRL, is funded by China itself. Next, through the deliberations, of course, many companies are involved, many companies are party to this initiative, but it's quite telling to look at the 3 companies which are the top Chinese construction firms. Even Penang Institute have showcased. In Johor, for example, you have a slew of China-based companies which are also competing with Chinese Malaysian companies, including other local setups for projects in the particular state. So up to 12.6 billion ringgit, ladies and gentlemen, worth of construction jobs were awarded to these Chinese companies and the top construction firms, as I've alluded to. Next. I wanted to also showcase, because I know this is quite small, but
just to showcase to all of you, kita bercakap tentang projek dan perjanjian, ya, dan amat sukar sekali untuk mendapatkan senarai bagi projek-projek yang diumumkan oleh kerajaan. Selalunya sebagai ahli parlimen, tentu saya mendapat akses menerusi jawatan kuasa. Kalau dilihat daripada pelaburan, Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, kita punyai caucus satu ketika dahulu. Maka di parlimen dapat diperincikan, dapat dibincangkan. Tetapi bagi perjanjian pelaburan, for investments or free trade arrangements, it only requires the approval of cabinet without having to go through parliament before it is being enforced. Makanya I bring to you the Kuala Linggi, International Port in Malacca, value 12.5 billion, expected year of completion is 2026. We have also Bagan Datuk Port in Malacca. I'm not sure you remember who the Member of Parliament is, but our Minister of Home Affairs, of course, stand to gain much from that project and investment. We also have the Kuantan Port expansion in Malaysia-China, Kuantan Industrial Park. So if you see the second part of the schedule, all of it are announced in billions of ringgit. And the expected date of completion, the earliest will be the Kuantan Port expansion, but the Bagan Datuk Port is not available for our judgment or knowledge. Next, and of course the East Coast Rail Line, ECRL. I think this is the most popular. The expected year of completion is 2024. Yeah, so I'm not sure, whether most of us will live long enough to enjoy it, but we of course hope for the best completion, for it to be a useful project, not just networking and spurring growth. As announced, it could be to the region of 1.5% of GDP. And of course, Forest City, Johor. I think for us, Forest City needs no more introduction. A lot of you have heard of this project. It is valued at 428 billion ringgit, ladies and gentlemen. And it basically consists of development projects on land and 4 artificial islands. And the expected year of full completion is 2037. And my biggest concern is when we have agreements. This was deliberated during roundtable between Bandar Malaysia Sdn Bhd and Greenland, an agreement between Selat PD Sdn Bhd and Quadruple C Dredging Group. Now both of this, there's no information, no value has been attached to these 2 projects. And I think that is disconcerting because of course kita lebih mengalu-alukan pelaburan, tetapi sudah tentu untuk memastikan mana-mana projek yang diumum itu berjaya ataupun tidak, kita memerlukan data-data terkini. So it includes of course the value and the year that it will be completed. So for these 2 projects, no such information was given. Next. And we also have, again I show you to the agreement to provide banking license to China Construction Bank, Malaysia Sdn Bhd. So providing a banking license would probably be something new, not really to a foreign entity at that, but not necessarily new, but I think not to have more information on it certainly brings questions. And this includes an initial paid up capital of $200 million. We also have an agreement between Yanming Resources Sdn Bhd and Fuzhou Xinzibu Culture Communication, and again, no value attached to the said agreement. So the final list, this last 2. We, of course, know Alibaba.com. To those of you, very big conglomerate, very exciting and impressive. But even more impressive, if I could basically get information on how much this investment is valued. So again, for that, including the agreement with Royal Bird's Nest Wallet Company and Peking University, not much information is given to us. So ladies and gentlemen, I think because of this, we will continue to deliberate, but it is not going to be sufficient without having access to this data. I wanted to basically raise some concerns that we have highlighted during roundtable. Next slide. Now, when you talk about regionally, most countries in ASEAN are certainly having a relationship with China with different or differing dynamics. I think Vietnam would have one of the key, slightly more different attitudes versus Laos, and the politics of the Mekong River will have to provide difficulty for the countries, the said countries, in terms of the usage, overdevelopment that has caused major droughts throughout the years. That's why, as a region, ASEAN, it is very useful for Southeast Asian countries to use ASEAN as a platform and not let China deal with member states individually. This was one of the key feedbacks we made, observations we made during the roundtable. And joint ventures certainly should be premised on national needs, not simply allowing foreign takeovers. For example, 60% of Bandar Malaysia now is owned by a Chinese company. Jadi pada saya memang ini antara beberapa isu yang dibangkitkan bila masa kita mahu lebih banyak kuasa dan pengaruh dibawa oleh ASEAN. ASEAN sebagai sebuah gabungan organisasi yang merangkumi kesemua negara-negara di Asia Tenggara haruslah lebih bersuara menjuarai isu-isu yang berpihak kepada negara-negara dalam ASEAN. Tetapi bila masa berlaku rundingan dua hala dengan China, maka sukar untuk kita mengetengahkan sama ada kritikan ataupun pendirian yang lebih tegas. But having said that, I would say this in terms of looking at it, next slide, in a more balanced, fair manner. You look at the benefits of China's investments in Malaysia, and I stand here speaking as a legislator, and I would definitely bring up these points to provide us a better view on what exactly are the benefits that Malaysia can accrue from China. Certainly you have increased accessibility. The ECRL, for example, the various ports announced, you want Malaysia to be the hub when we have long been competing with countries like Singapore in the Malacca Straits. So certainly these are not negative decisions. You do want us to have a pivotal place in the region. And of course, better businesses for locals. I think you have to remember, China does not provide any sort of cap for any positions held in any of the projects. I think we can compare, for example, what happened when we were in the years we were looking to Japan. How high a position in the management that we are allowed to hold, for example. I think these are crucial conditional positions that are being given by China or being excluded by China, which helps us prosper forward. But at the same time, we also expect higher GDP consumption, because China's thirst for development. And this would include, ladies and gentlemen, let us not forget, even for the CRL, the projected GDP growth was between 1 to 1.5%. So for me, it is important to also look at this. The issue is our government providing the necessary red lines to protect our interests in order to get the best or the maximum benefits from any investors and investment. So the issue again is not so much the announcements, it is the approval processes. It is the decisions that are being made by the number one in Malaysia to showcase their ability to rigorously analyse and approve the best deal for Malaysia. And of course, it's my duty as well to disclose the next slide, which is the potential risk of China's investments. And among the things that have been highlighted include Malaysia is debt-laden if unable to repay China's soft loans. I remember before we are staring at 685 billion ringgit of debt by the end of quarter 2017. By 2013 itself, we have been raising the fear that 1MDB will become a mammoth giant that will burden us economically. So certainly for any particular deal, I think it's important to understand we do need to know the clear-cut commitment to the transfer of skills and knowledge and how much debt that Malaysia actually faces, and we bear heavy funding costs if the Chinese banks and they are part of the agreement. And of course, I think, next slide, the potential risk, in terms of the geopolitical impacts. From last year to this year, Malaysia's defense procurement dropped 13%. And of course, because of funding issues, the defense sector saw the reduction. And certainly, we used to buy submarines from France, but now we are seeing Malaysia that has procured literal vessels from China. And this means the shift has been quite pronounced, and this includes economic domination of strategic locations, whether it's port expansion or construction at Kuantan and in Malacca. And over-dependence on China weakens Malaysia as well as ASEAN's leverage in terms of foreign policy and economic relations. I think we were always at the forefront before, giving criticism with regards to the South Sea dispute, together with Vietnam. And in recent months and years, we haven't heard anything substantive with regards to our position to China's insistence to, of course, acquire these disputed areas. And the One Belt, One Road agenda, of course, ties ASEAN to China, although I do not think this is necessarily negative. But remember, this is Malaysia post minus TPP. We used to have the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, and of course, the RCEP on the right hand. But now it's really an economy and a might that is much dominated by China, not just tying us to the OBOR project, but also the rest of Southeast Asia. However, and I'm going to end my presentation here, the conclusion is really asking us to look forward. Basically, the Malaysian government has no choice but to strengthen its governance and rule of law to avoid a national debacle. So FDI inflows should be emphasized based on their quality and holistic impact, not just solely on monetary values. That's why my proposition, not just as a board member and director of Institute Rakyat, but I will continue to push for deliberation of this matter in the Malaysian Parliament. We should be engaging relevant stakeholders. Whatever's been discussed here should rightfully be discussed in Parliament. We should certainly invite economists, businesses, the various other stakeholders to ensure whatever that we're going to partake in has Malaysia's interest and is also consequently symbiotic in nature. And of course, investments are certainly welcome, but with a clear-cut ethical rule of engagement. And Malaysia should really create leverage against major powers by exemplifying high moral standards. I mean, we want to be respected around the world, so certainly we have to lead by our ethical benchmarks, strengthening governance and rule of law, and implementing equitable development policies in line with what Malaysia has been doing to reduce income inequality, not increasing corruption. And foreign investments with mutual benefits should be symbiotic in nature and subjected to key analysis before proceeding: cost, benefits, and debt servicing risk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this. It saddens me sometimes because I get more information on investments, on any other area that affects us as a nation from the reports provided to other parliaments, but not our own. So it is really time for us to hold our government accountable, and I hope that you will do your best to not just raise this issue, not to be anti-trade, anti-investments. I think we have to take a measured approach. We are definitely in need of investments, and Malaysia's debt crisis necessitates that readiness to embrace a more global scene, but at the same time, hard, difficult questions have to be asked. And I end by welcoming Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Izzah Wan Ismail, not just the opposition leader, tapi juga pengarah bagi Institut Rakyat. Thank you so much for being here. And I will lobby so that the President will bring up these deliberations. Thank you very much, and a very good night. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Yang Berhormat Puan Nurul Izzah Anwar. Seterusnya kita akan menjemput Saudara Azrul Azwar untuk memberikan sepatah dua kata pandangan beliau sendiri terhadap dapatan kajian daripada kajian Institut Rakyat ini ya. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat malam. Betul kan? Walaupun saya telah menulis saya punya macam speech ni dalam bahasa Inggeris, tapi saya akan cuba sedaya mungkin untuk membentangkannya dalam bahasa Melayu untuk kebaikan lebih ramai orang, terutamanya di kalangan masyarakat Melayu dan juga mereka yang kurang fasih dalam bahasa Inggeris. Jadi saya lebih pertama dan mungkin juga saya akan campur-campur lah juga English dalam bahasa Melayu tu. Mandarin saya tak pandai, jadi tak boleh. Kalau French boleh. Okey. Pertama sekali saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada hadirin dan hadirat sekalian yang sudi meluangkan masa pada malam ini untuk hadir bersama kita untuk mendengar sedikit mengenai pelaburan China di negara kita. Dan yang kedua, saya ingin juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Institut Rakyat kerana sudi menjemput saya untuk sama-sama berkongsi pendapat dan juga pengalaman saya. Kalau anda semua masih ingat, saya dulu pernah menjadi pengarah eksekutif Institut Rakyat, tapi itu dah lama lah, 2013. Jadi ni sekarang ni seolah-olah macam sirih pulang ke ganggang lah. Betul? Okey, baik. Saya ditugaskan untuk memberi komen ataupun feedback terhadap policy discussion paper ataupun kertas perbincangan dasar yang ada dalam tangan saya ini, yang saya kira ada di depan, yang hadirin hadirat sekalian boleh dapatkan. Okey, baik. Latar belakang bagi perkara yang kita bincangkan malam ini adalah One Belt One Road ataupun OBOR agenda, ataupun yang baru-baru ini telah di-rebrand, telah dijenamakan semula sebagai Belt and Road Initiative. Okey. Apakah itu BRI ataupun Belt and Road Initiative ni? Okey. Belt merupakan adalah land routes, manakala road adalah maritime routes. Jadi China bercadang untuk menghubungkan negara mereka kepada Eropah melalui Asia, Timur Tengah dan juga Afrika, dengan projek-projek infrastruktur di 68 buah negara, okey, yang kebanyakannya adalah negara-negara membangun setakat ini, okey. Jadi pada bulan November 2016, Malaysia dengan negara China telah menandatangani 14 MOUs dengan jumlah lebih kurang 143.6 bilion ringgit, ya. Dan MOUs inilah yang menjadi platform bagi pelaburan China di Malaysia, okey. Dan BRI ini dia target untuk melabur lebih kurang 150 bilion US dollars dalam setahun di 68 negara yang saya sebut tadi, okey. Dan sering kali kita lihat BRI ini dibandingkan dengan Marshall Plan. Saya pun tak lahir lagi. Marshall Plan yang diperkenalkan oleh Amerika Syarikat pada tahun 1948 untuk membantu membina semula Eropah selepas Perang Dunia Kedua. Okey. Tapi BRI ini lagi besar. Kalau Marshall Plan tu tak silap saya, nilai dia, tapi masa itulah tak silap saya nilai dia dalam 15 bilion US dollars, tak silap saya pun tak berapa pasti. Tapi dengan BRI ini besar, tak silap saya hampir 1 trilion US dollars secara keseluruhan. Dan impact daripada pelaburan pelaburan besar ini akan memberi kesan kepada paling kurang 65% daripada penduduk dunia dan mewakili ekonomi bagi hampir 1/3 daripada GDP global. Okey, sekarang kita nak zoom in on investment deals yang dibuat oleh China di Malaysia. Okey. Kalau kita cuba tengok kalau kita tengok dalam discussion paper ni, memang ada disenaraikan, ada satu table yang menyenaraikan kesemua deals ataupun investments yang dibuat oleh negara China. Okey. Dan kebanyakannya memang untuk pembangunan infrastruktur, dan oleh itu saya secara personally saya rasa mengumumkan ketibaan Tun Dr Mahathir saya continue. I continue. Oh, dia naik terus. Professor Jomo, we would like to invite you to join us on the stage as well.
So basically we'll be speaking for 10 more minutes.
Okay.
For Q&A, 3 questions for you dengan YB.
Lepas tu, sorry. Okey, boleh saya sambung? Okey. Melainkan projek property developments terutamanya di Forest City Johor dan Bandar Malaysia Kuala Lumpur, lain-lain projek yang ada boleh nampak dalam paper ini adalah untuk pembangunan infrastruktur dan juga ada juga aktiviti yang berasaskan perkhidmatan. Okey. Disebabkan saya diberitahu bahawa masa untuk saya tak banyak lagi, saya akan cuba untuk mempercepatkan. Okey. I concur with the general tone and tenor of this paper that Malaysia should welcome all foreign direct investments from any countries as long as they are high quality, fair, mutually beneficial in the long run, as well as economically, socially and environmentally sustainable while fitting the national development agenda, and of course after thorough and rigorous analysis and scrutiny. And China's investments should be of no exception and must pass this test, and we should not give carte blanche to China or even any other countries. Okay. Saya juga nak memberitahu bahawa saya appreciate kalau kita tengok dalam paper ni tables yang menunjukkan di mana kedudukan China sekarang sebagai salah satu daripada important economic partners untuk Malaysia dari segi international trade dan juga foreign direct investments, dan juga dengan perbandingan dengan top 5 trading partners and capital exporters vis-a-vis Malaysia. Okay. Dan okay, while acknowledging and laying out the potential benefits and advantages of China's investments in Malaysia in various aspects, the paper also raised several red flags of such projects and deals seperti yang dibentangkan oleh YB Nur Izzah sebentar tadi, dan and if these projects and deals are not analysed and negotiated properly, itulah yang akan berlakunya risiko dan juga red flags yang telah dibentangkan oleh YB Nur Izzah sebentar tadi. Okey. Dan oleh kerana itu saya rasa tak perlulah bagi saya untuk repeat ataupun revisit all the important points and issues, whether positive or negative, that YB Nur Izzah has brilliantly articulated. Okay. However, I think it is important for me to highlight this. I cannot speak for others, but as far as I'm concerned, tonight's forum should not be turned into a China bashing platform. Saya tak agree kalau kita nak menjadikan dia begitu. Ini pendapat saya. And in tandem with Institute Rakyat's mission to promote level-headed, healthy and balanced discourse and discussion, especially on public policies and other matters of public interest with far-reaching implications, I would therefore call for a thorough and detailed analysis in a grounded and realistic manner of all possible impacts of China's investments in Malaysia, leaving no stone unturned. And this policy discussion paper is a good start to achieve that goal, which brings me to the next agenda. For all intents and purposes, given the huge amount of money involved, as well as the profound and consequential potential implications for Malaysia as a country and Malaysians in general, it is imperative for us to perform an objective, even-handed, unbiased and fair assessment with no prejudice or partiality in this matter. For that reason, I would like to propose to Institute Rakyat, which has been transformed from a political party affiliated think tank into an independent, impartial and non-partisan one, to conduct a comprehensive, rigorous and methodical cost-benefit analysis, or CBA. And for that, I would offer my services to help Institute Rakyat to do that. And in the interest of time, I would invite members of the public of diverse backgrounds and areas of experience and expertise to join this noble effort to volunteer their contributions in whatever forms. So, saya rasa saya tak perlu bentangkan apa CBA or cost benefit analysis ni. Jadi kalau Institut Rakyat setuju untuk langkah selanjutnya untuk menjalankan detail CBA ni, saya akan bantu. Saya akan terangkan apakah metod langkah-langkah untuk melakukan cost benefit analysis yang sebaik mungkin. Okey. Dan apa yang saya rasa saya perlu kongsi untuk malam ini adalah pertama sekali kita perlu senaraikan secara intuitif semua kos ni bukan kos untuk projek saja. Kos ni semua yang boleh disifatkan sebagai undesirable effects akan digolongkan sebagai kos, dan benefits apa yang kita boleh sifatkan sebagai desirable effects. Jadi kita kena buat satu senarai secara intuitif cost and benefits ini, dan setelah kita buat dalam laporan akhir cost benefit analysis ini, itu pun kalau Institut Rakyat setuju untuk kita lakukan, kita boleh slotkan cost and benefits ini dalam 4 sets of perspectives. Yang pertama adalah business and corporate perspectives, dan dalam slot ini kita boleh timbulkan, can China actually afford the BRI amidst its currently tightening mode of capital controls, as well as ballooning household, corporate and public debt. Dan juga kita cuba nak tengok business model for each project and deal, dan kita juga nak tengok economic viability and risk reward profile of each project and deals, among others. Dan set yang kedua adalah socio-economic dan political perspectives. Ini adalah set perspektif yang paling besar. Antaranya kita nak tengok direct impact ke atas GDP secara keseluruhan, sama ada dari segi economic activities dan juga demand aggregates. Kita juga nak tengok positif ataupun negatif spillover effects on the economy at the national, state and local levels, terutamanya yang berkaitan dengan employment, wages and salaries and juga household incomes, Malaysian owned SMEs dan berbagai lagi. Okey, kita juga nak tengok sama ada pelaburan China ini akan di Malaysia ini akan memberi kesan ke atas ekspor Malaysia, sebab kita tahu kalau kita tengok dari pengalaman di beberapa negara kebelakang ini, di mana ada semacam satu kecenderungan di kalangan bagi China, bagi negara China untuk membawa masuk hampir ke semua resources, semi finished inputs dan juga finished goods secara langsung daripada China instead of sourcing locally. Ya, jadi itu antara benda yang kita nak tengok dalam set ini. Dan yang set yang ketiga adalah apa yang kita panggil sebagai public administration, governance, fiscal, geopolitical and diplomatic perspectives. Jadi semua itu yang berkaitan dengan kesan ke atas national coffers dan juga federal government budget, kesan ke atas geopolitical impact, semuanya kita masukkan dalam set ini, kita akan kaji. Dan yang terakhir adalah yang berkaitan dengan set yang berkaitan dengan sustainability, environmental, health and safety perspectives. Sebagai contoh, ECRL, apabila dia selesai, okay, kita tahu ECRL ini akan membantu untuk mengurangkan road traffic, okay, dan juga dengan berkurangnya road traffic kita akan dapat mengurangkan CO2 emissions dan juga kita dapat mengurangkan macam-macam pollution yang lain, okay. Akan tetapi kita kena ambil take into consideration the fact that pembinaan ECRL ini dijangka akan memotong lebih kurang 360 hektar protected forest, ya. Sebab daripada pantai timur ke pantai barat kan. Jadi pembinaan ini dengan cut across protected forest ini akan memberi ancaman kepada biodiversity equilibrium dan juga akan menyebabkan kehilangan habitat bagi banyak endangered species ataupun species dalam saya pun tak tahu bahasa Malaysianya, endangered species. Okay. As a conclusion, if I may end, let me stress again that I have nothing against China, nor its investment push into the Belt and Road Corridor. Okay. What we should all be concerned about and examine closely and thoroughly on the Malaysian government part, which is mandated to protect our own interests first and foremost, are the good governance issues surrounding the deals, mechanisms, processes and procedures of how the deals are negotiated and the way projects are implemented, the balance of power play, especially at the negotiating tables, as well as terms and conditions of each deal, among other things. Thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Yang Berhormat Puan Nurul Izzah Anwar atas pembentangan yang begitu menarik sebentar tadi, serta Saudara Azrul atas kritikan yang begitu membina, ya. Untuk pengetahuan hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, Institut Rakyat adalah sebuah non-profit organisation. Jadi kami ada membuka kaunter sumbangan. Jadi saya mewakili Institut Rakyat ingin memohon hadirin yang dihormati untuk membantu kami dalam usaha penyelidikan dan advokasi. Kami memerlukan sokongan anda dari segi bantuan kewangan. Untuk mana-mana para hadirin yang ingin membantu kami bukan dari segi kewangan, bolehlah berhubung terus dengan mana-mana volunteer yang berada pada malam yang ada pada malam ini, atau terus berhubung dengan kami di Facebook page kami. Kepada rakan-rakan media, sekali lagi ingin saya ingatkan, selepas sesi ini kita akan mengadakan sebuah sidang media. Jadi minta para rakan-rakan media untuk tunggu sebentar selepas majlis habis berlangsung, ya. Baiklah, seterusnya tanpa membuang masa, saya ingin menjemput Prof Dr KS Jomo sebagai seorang pakar ekonomi untuk memberikan pendapat dan juga pandangan beliau terhadap isu ini. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan.
Saudari pengurusi majlis, ahli panel Tun Dr Mahathir dan Azrul yang saya hormati, para hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Terlebih dulu ingin saya ucapkan terima kasih kerana minat tuan-tuan dan puan-puan terhadap tajuk yang penting yang kita akan bincangkan pada malam ini, dan terutama sekali kehadiran dua ibu tanah air kita, iaitu Tun Dr Siti Hasmah dan Datuk Seri Puan Azizah. Saya terpaksa menyebutkan kehadiran Tun Siti Hasmah kerana minat dan sokongan yang kuat selama banyak tahun terhadap kesihatan awam. Pentingnya kesihatan awam bagi masyarakat kita. Kerana Malaysia boleh bangga walaupun perbelanjaan untuk kesihatan tidak begitu banyak, tetapi kerana kesihatan awam diutamakan, kita dapat mencapai indikator dan pencapaian yang amat dikagumi, terutama sekali di dunia ketiga. Tajuk kita pada malam ini harus dilihat dalam konteks ekonomi dan politik dunia dalam keadaan sekarang. Kalau kita lihat apa yang telah berlaku dalam lebih kurang 10 tahun, satu dasawasa kebelakangan ini, kita lihat bahawa ekonomi dunia dalam keadaan yang terus lembab. Lembab kerana tidak ada jentera yang kuat dalam ekonomi dunia. Kita dapati bahawa ekonomi-ekonomi barat enggan mengambil dasar-dasar yang berkesan untuk mengatasi masalah-masalah untuk mencapai pertumbuhan ekonomi yang lebih kuat. Oleh demikian, mereka hanya mengambil sikap untuk mengurangkan kadar bunga kepada paras yang amat rendah, dan akibat dasar itu kita dapati bahawa golongan yang kaya di dunia bertambah kaya kerana nilai aset-aset mereka meningkat akibat daripada adanya kredit untuk membeli aset-aset itu. Sedangkan sebaliknya, akibat daripada dasar-dasar demikian serta dasar-dasar lain, iaitu apa yang dikatakan penyusunan semula, restructuring, kita dapati bahawa pasaran buruh di negeri-negeri barat makin lembab, dan akibat daripada itu pendapatan orang berpendapatan rendah di ekonomi-ekonomi barat telah menurun. Dan akibat itu mereka makin marah dengan orang-orang asing. Mereka makin marah dengan orang asing kerana mereka menganggap bahawa orang-orang asing telah mencuri peluang-peluang pekerjaan mereka. Dan barang-barang yang diimport dari luar negeri yang telah menyebabkan barang-barang yang dikeluarkan mereka tidak dapat dijual. Akibat daripada itu, kita dapati bahawa misalnya di Britain pada lebih kurang 1 tahun yang lalu, mereka telah memilih Brexit kerana marah dengan kedatangan bukan hanya daripada dunia ketiga, tetapi malah dari Eropah Timur sendiri. Di Amerika Syarikat, buat kali pertama semenjak tahun 60-an, kita dapati seorang presiden yang jelas memandang rendah, menghina orang yang tidak kulit putih dan juga mengambil sikap tidak mempedulikan apa yang wujud di dunia, apa yang sedang berlaku di dunia, malah menganggap negeri-negeri lain sebagai musuh, terutama sekali negeri-negeri kecil. Dalam keadaan ini, tidak ada harapan untuk memulih ekonomi negara kerana tidak ada dasar-dasar yang berani seperti pada tahun 30-an dulu ada Roosevelt yang telah adakan New Deal yang telah memulih ekonomi dunia, ekonomi Amerika Syarikat pada mulanya dan juga akhirnya telah memulih ekonomi dunia. Sikap seperti itu tidak wujud lagi di barat. Dalam keadaan ini, kelebihan surplus yang ada di negeri China telah menyebabkan negeri China mempunyai banyak kewangan. Dan akibat daripada itu, kita dapati bahawa orang yang kaya di negeri China, kapitalis-kapitalis di negeri China sendiri tidak mau simpan duit mereka di negeri China. Mereka ingin melabur di luar negeri ataupun bawa keluar wang itu. Oleh sebab itu, semenjak bulan November yang tahun sudah, negeri China telah mula memperkenalkan beberapa sekatan supaya wang itu tidak dibawa lari ke luar negeri. Kalau dulu mereka bawa duit itu ke tempat seperti Hong Kong, ke Singapura dan sebagainya, tetapi melabur balik di negeri China. Seperti orang kaya di India membawa duit ke Mauritius dan melabur kembali di negeri India. Tetapi sekarang wang yang dibawa tidak dilabur semula. Akibat itu, kita dapati bahawa pertumbuhan ekonomi di negeri China makin lembab. Kita dapati bahawa tidak ada cukup permintaan dalam negeri China sendiri akibat daripada sikap orang kaya di negeri China yang ingin membawa duit mereka keluar. 3 hari lalu, Majlis Negara di negeri China telah membuat keputusan untuk memperkuatkan beberapa peraturan yang telah diperkenalkan semenjak November tahun sudah. Jadi, dan ini bukan hanya memberi kesan terhadap peminjaman kepada syarikat-syarikat swasta, tetapi juga terhadap syarikat-syarikat ataupun perusahaan-perusahaan negara, ya, perusahaan-perusahaan state-owned enterprises. Mereka juga menghadapi kesulitan kerana pemerintah di negeri China sedar bahawa mereka yang menguasai perusahaan-perusahaan negara di sana juga tidak semestinya mengutamakan kepentingan negeri China. Jadi akibat daripada itu, kita dapati ada banyak masalah yang telah timbul yang akibat daripada itu, dan kita tidak boleh jangka peminjaman yang telah mungkin berlaku kebelakangan ini akan berterusan pada masa depan. Masalah yang kedua, kita dapati bahawa pimpinan di Beijing makin sedar bahawa pelabur-pelabur China, sama ada swasta ataupun daripada perusahaan negara, mereka bermaharaja lela di luar negeri. Perangai mereka tidak semestinya menghormati keadaan dalam negeri. Mereka membawa barang-barang, membawa buruh dari negeri China untuk membuat projek-projek mereka. Beberapa tahun yang sudah, duta negeri China ke Tanzania di Dar es Salaam telah memohon maaf kepada negeri-negeri Afrika kerana dia meminta maaf atas perangai pelabur-pelabur dari negeri China di Afrika. Kalau China ingin memperluaskan pengaruh mereka, mereka tidak boleh bersaing dengan Barat hanya dengan kekuatan tenteranya ataupun dengan cara-cara keras. Apa yang dikatakan kuasa lembut juga penting, soft power penting, winning hearts and minds penting. Oleh kerana itu, pimpinan di negeri China sekarang mengubah sikap mereka terhadap negeri-negeri di luar. Dalam konteks itu, kita dapati bahawa pinjaman bank-bank sebelum ini telah banyak diberi kepada syarikat swasta dan juga syarikat awam. Malah misalnya projek di Johor yang dikatakan namanya Forest City adalah projek China yang terbesar di luar negeri China, terbesar sekali di dunia. Tetapi apakah manfaatnya kepada rakyat negeri Johor? Dari dulu lagi, rakyat negeri Johor apabila rumah, harta tanah dapat dibeli oleh orang-orang Singapura, mereka tidak mampu untuk membeli rumah sendiri. Mereka menghadapi masalah kos hidup yang makin meningkat akibat daripada Johor, selatan Johor itu menjadi macam dormitory untuk pekerja-pekerja di Singapura. Dan masalah ini makin meningkat dengan adanya projek-projek seperti Forest City dan sebagainya. Oleh kerana itu, kita dapati bahawa semenjak beberapa dasarwasa yang lalu, sekurang-kurangnya dari tahun 70-an dalam ingatan saya sendiri, kita dapati bahawa Majlis Tanah Negara, National Land Council, telah mengubah dasar dalam konteks-konteks tertentu dalam hal ini. Tetapi di Malaysia, perlembagaan Malaysia memberi kuasa terhadap kerajaan negeri dalam soal semua sumber alam, termasuk tanah. Kecualiannya ialah minyak petroleum dan gas. Dan itu adalah akibat daripada tahun 74 yang akhirnya menubuhkan Petronas dan sebagainya. Tetapi selain daripada itu, semuanya dimiliki oleh di bawah kuasa kerajaan-kerajaan negeri. Jadi kuasa kerajaan persekutuan juga agak terhad dalam soal-soal ini. Ya. Tetapi kita harus lihat apakah kesan projek-projek seumpama itu terhadap rakyat, terutama sekali di Johor sendiri. Dalam keadaan sekarang, kita harus ingat bahawa kita perlu sesuatu untuk menggerakkan ekonomi kita untuk tumbuh dengan lebih cepat. Dalam sejarah Malaysia sejak merdeka 60 tahun sudah, ada dua period, dua tempoh di mana pertumbuhan ekonomi yang agak tinggi telah tercapai. Yang pertama pada tahun 70-an. Walaupun setengah orang kata, DEP ini akan menyebabkan sektor swasta tidak mau melabur dan sebagainya. Sebaliknya, pertumbuhan ekonomi yang cepat, laju telah tercapai pada waktu itu, apalagi dengan usaha-usaha untuk mempercepatkan proses perindustrian. Tun Dr Mahathir sendiri pernah sewaktu menjadi Timbalan Perdana Menteri dulu, pernah menjadi Menteri Perdagangan dan Industri dalam hal pada waktu itu. Dan saya tidak tahu, tapi barangkali dia telah lihat apa yang telah berlaku di Timur Laut Asia, di Jepun, di Korea, dan ini memberi ilham untuk cuba memajukan Malaysia dengan lebih laju, lebih cepat. Jadi pada tahun 78 beliau telah menubuhkan HICOM. Dia telah lihat apa yang telah tercapai di Korea apabila Presiden Park Chung-hee memulakan projek heavy dan chemical industrialization di Korea. Tempoh yang kedua juga lebih kurang satu dasawasa, ialah dari ujung tahun 80-an sehingga tahun 97. Kita dapati bahawa pertumbuhan ekonomi yang tinggi tercapai pada waktu itu juga. Lebih kurang 8% setahun, pukul rata. Ini dua period kejayaan yang cukup baik, dan ini telah memajukan proses perindustrian, proses permodernan, dan dengan dasar-dasar yang lain yang saya utamakan, dasar-dasar teknologi, kita dapati pertumbuhan telah berlaku. Tetapi malangnya, selepas krisis 97-98, kita dapati bahawa pertumbuhan ekonomi lebih lembab, di sekitar 5% semenjak tahun 99 sehingga sekarang. Tetapi yang lebih membimbangkan saya, kita dapati bahawa satu proses di mana sektor industri makin mengecut, ya, premature deindustrialization, ya. Industri kita belum matang lagi, tetapi sudah mula mengecut. Dan sepatutnya kerajaan mengutamakan masalah ini. Ini sepatutnya merupakan satu cabaran yang besar. Mengapa kita mengalami deindustrialization? Tetapi malangnya, ini dikatakan satu kejayaan. Kononnya kita ke arah menjadi negara ekonomi maju. Kononnya kita menjadi negara maju. Dan ini tanda-tanda. Jadi premature deindustrialization yang sebenarnya satu kegagalan dikatakan satu kejayaan. Ini sesuatu yang berbahaya. Apakah ekonomi kita akan dapat maju pada masa depan dengan bergantung hanya pada perkhidmatan, terutama sekali perkhidmatan kewangan? Kita lihat apa telah berlaku di negeri di selatan Selat Teberau, di Singapura, di mana Singapura telah menjadi satu pusat kewangan bukan hanya di rantau ini, malah pada peringkat dunia. Mungkin saudara ada di kalangan saudara yang telah terbaca dalam surat khabar Inggeris Financial Times, satu surat daripada seorang di Afrika, seorang bekas menteri di Afrika yang menulis surat kepada Financial Times dan mengadu bahawa Singapura sekarang sudah menjadi tax haven yang terbesar di dunia, iaitu tempat untuk mengelakkan bayar cukai yang terbesar di dunia. Sudah melebihi Switzerland. Apakah itu matlamat yang patut dicapai oleh Malaysia. Itu tidak akan membawa kita ke mana-mana. Apalagi memandangkan bilangan rakyat Malaysia sekarang yang diakui, bilangan rakyat yang ada di Malaysia 32 juta. Dan mengikut Menteri Tenaga Manusia pada tahun sudah, Richard Riot, dia menganggarkan bahawa bilangan pekerja asing yang ada di Malaysia di sekitar 6.7 juta. Ya. Angka resmi ialah 1 juta, 2 juta. Tapi menurut menteri itu, dia mengatakan ada 6.7 juta. Cuba bayangkan, saiz tenaga kerja di Malaysia yang diakui oleh kerajaan 14 juta. 7 juta lagi yang tidak yang pekerja asing. Ya. Malah di kalangan 14 juta itu termasuk juga pekerja asing, ya, tetapi katakan itu berasingan. Jadi ini bermakna bahawa antara 35% sehingga 40% daripada tenaga kerja Malaysia yang sebenar adalah pekerja asing. Dan kita mempunyai kita sentiasa mengemukakan angka-angka yang menafikan kewujudan pekerja asing ini. Jadi kita bagikan dengan angka 32 juta ataupun 14 juta yang bekerja. Kita tidak mengakui yang lain. Jadi sebenarnya produktiviti yang dikatakan meningkat dan sebagainya sebenarnya merosot. Ya. Produktiviti merosot kerana kita tidak mengambil kira bilangan pekerja asing. Kita menafikan mereka wujud. Kalau kita lihat di sektor pertanian Malaysia sekarang, hampir semua sektor pertanian, lebih pada 80%, termasuk di Felda sendiri. Peneroka Felda, ramai yang tidak kerja di ladang lagi. Dia upah pekerja asing untuk kerja di skim-skim Felda. Jadi ini hakikat Malaysia sekarang. Jadi kebanyakan mereka ini tidak diakui. Dan angka-angka kita mengelirukan. Jadi dalam konteks ini penting kita mencari peluang-peluang pelaburan yang boleh menggerakkan ekonomi tanah air kita. Peluang-peluang yang sepatutnya kebanyakannya datang dari industri. Bukan industri buruh murah, tapi industri yang lebih maju, yang memerlukan kemahiran yang lebih maju dan sebagainya. Tetapi itu memerlukan satu sistem pendidikan yang baik. Malaysia selama ini banyak belanja untuk pendidikan, tapi malangnya pencapaian kita dari segi indikator-indikator pendidikan memalukan. Berbeza sekali dengan kesihatan misalnya, di mana kesihatan dapat kita dari segi indikator kesihatan cukup baik. Daripada reform-reform yang mungkin agak mudah, misalnya pada tahun 60-an ada ketua pengarah kesihatan Muhammad Said namanya, arwah. Dia memperkenalkan sistem bidan kampung. Ya, dengan adanya bidan kampung, kematian ibu semasa hamil ataupun sewaktu melahirkan anak telah berkurangan, banyak berkurangan. Begitu juga dengan survival anak bayi-bayi yang lahir makin meningkat. Jadi itu sebabnya soal kesihatan awam itu amat penting. Ya. Kita tidak boleh mencari segala penyelesaian dengan pasaran. Baru-baru ini misalnya Martin Kor, ya, pengarah South Center di Geneva, telah menulis satu artikel di mana 500,000 rakyat Malaysia mengidap penyakit hepatitis C. Ya. Obatnya RM360,000. RM360,000. Tetapi sebenarnya kalau kita ikut jejak langkah apa yang telah berlaku di Mesir dengan mengeluarkan ubat generik, kosnya lebih sedikit daripada RM1,000. Ya. Ini adalah akibat daripada dasar-dasar di mana kita membiarkan syarikat-syarikat gergasi antarabangsa bermarajalela. Jadi oleh kerana itu amat penting kita melihat, kita mengadakan satu dasar-dasar yang sesuai untuk memajukan negara. Dan sikap yang ada sekarang yang telah membolehkan pelabur-pelabur asing makin menguasai ekonomi Malaysia. Apakah tarikh tahun terakhir ada angka tentang milik saham di Malaysia? Tahun terakhir ialah tahun 2008. Semenjak tahun 2008 tidak ada angka. Dan sebabnya ialah kerana kita di Malaysia selalu Cina dengan Melayu lawan siapa memiliki lebih banyak saham dan sebagainya. Sebenarnya yang makin memiliki saham di pasaran saham Malaysia pemilik asing. Pemilik asing dengan menggunakan duit daripada quantitative easing dan sebagainya, mereka yang membeli saham. Ini yang berlaku di Malaysia. Apalagi dengan merosotnya nilai mata wang ringgit dalam 3 tahun kebelakangan ini semenjak tahun 2014. Jadi dalam keadaan ini kita kerana kemampuan daya teknologi kita masih lemah, kita terpaksa mencari kadang-kala pelabur asing, tetapi pelabur asing yang membawa manfaat dari segi teknologi yang kita sendiri tidak mampu untuk memajukan. Maka dalam beberapa tahun kebelakangan ini misalnya ada beberapa kilang solar panel yang agak baik yang telah ditubuhkan di Malaysia dengan pelabur-pelabur dari negeri China dan sebagainya. Dan solar panel itu sehingga tahun 2015 tidak dapat diekspor ke barat, terutama sekali ke Amerika Syarikat, kerana Amerika Syarikat telah menyekat solar panel daripada Asia Tenggara, daripada China dan juga daripada Jepun, sehingga mereka ingin tarik Malaysia masuk kepada TPP. Barulah pada Jun 2015 dia buang sekatan itu. Ya. Tapi kita dapati bahawa sebenarnya apa yang tercapai di negeri China bukan sesuatu yang begitu luar biasa yang boleh juga dicapai oleh negeri-negeri yang lain. Ya. Kalau proses untuk menggalakkan industri itu diteruskan, solar panel dengan wind turbine, ya, kipas-kipas yang menjanakan kuasa elektrik boleh dibuat di sini juga. Ya. Tetapi apa yang berlaku di Amerika Syarikat dihalang masuk, di Eropah juga dihalang masuk. Satu menggunakan alasan kononnya disubsidi oleh kerajaan, Satu lagi menggunakan alasan kononnya mutunya tidak cukup baik. Ini semua alasan-alasan untuk menghalang. Begitu juga di Malaysia misalnya, dulu minyak kelapa sawit tidak dapat masuk Eropah. Akibat itu kita dapati bahawa, kalau tak silap saya, Menteri Perdagangan waktu itu telah mengadakan mulanya barter trade, mula dengan India, dengan Soviet Union, kemudian dengan Pakistan, dan akhirnya dengan negeri China. Kerana tidak dapat masuk di sana. Baru-baru ini 3 bulan lalu, Parlimen Eropah telah menghalang minyak kelapa sawit atas alasan baru, kononnya unsustainable. Dengan cara-cara lain kita dapati bahawa mereka menghalang. Tetapi sebenarnya, kalau Eropah serius untuk mencari biofuel alternatif, biodiesel daripada minyak kelapa sawit adalah yang paling murah sekali. Kerana minyak dari sayuran di Eropah itu jauh lebih mahal, ya, 8 kali lebih mahal, 11 kali lebih mahal dan sebagainya, bergantung pada jenis minyak. Jadi kalau kita kembali kepada soal pelaburan, ada pelaburan asing yang baik, yang mungkin perlu, termasuk juga daripada negeri China. Tetapi setengah itu sebenarnya merupakan alasan untuk adakan projek dengan harapan untuk dapat duit pinjaman. Dan ini bahaya yang besar. Kerana akhirnya kerugian beban hutang itu akan ditanggung bukan hanya oleh kita, tetapi pada generasi akan datang. Ini bukan hutang yang kecil, ya. Memang ada hutang dari dulu lagi, ya, termasuk dari zaman Tun Mahathir. Tapi hutang yang sedang bertambah sekarang, bertambah dengan paras yang begitu cepat sekali untuk projek yang tidak menasabah. Tadi Saudara Azrul sebut tentang ECRL. Saya telah komen tentang itu beberapa kali, jadi saya tidak ingin ulang sekali lagi. Tetapi projek ECRL itu dijangka akan bawa kargo dalam tempoh 8 tahun. Kargonya 10 kali ganda, lebih pada 10 kali ganda kargo yang dibawa di kereta api Tanah Melayu yang ada sekarang, ya, lebih pada 10 kali ganda. Apakah dapat diterima akal? Dan mengapa sistem landasan kereta api yang ada sekarang itu tidak boleh dipakai untuk itu? Apa salah? Sebab bukan kita nak cepatkan, ya, ini tidak perlu high speed, ya. High speed railway, kargo itu bukan sesuatu yang perlu dibawa dengan laju sekali, ya. Bullet train tak perlu, ya. Buat apa nak bawa barang-barang itu dengan bullet train, ya? Jadi bullet train itu untuk siapa? High speed railway itu untuk siapa, ya? Apakah orang akan kerja di Kota Baru ataupun di Kuantan datang kerja setiap hari di KL? Ya? Sudah tentu tidak, ya. Jadi ini adalah projek-projek yang tidak menasabah. Dan kalau kita lihat misalnya, ada kereta api, landasan kereta api yang telah siap sedia. Kalau tak silap saya dekat 3 tahun antara Kredit dengan Kuantan. Selama ini tidak pernah dipakai, ya. Projek itu sudah siap, tapi tak pernah dipakai. Jadi kita dapati bahawa projek-projek seumpama itu sedang dibuat, dan ini akan sudah tentu memberi kesan yang besar. Saya tidak akan saya sadar bahawa saudara dan saudari datang bukan untuk dengar saya, untuk dengar. Jadi sebelum saya undurkan diri, ingin saya tambah satu lagi, iaitu bahawa apa yang sedang berlaku di tanah air kita sekarang mempunyai banyak implikasi. Malaysia sekarang, kita sekarang tahun ini 50 tahun ASEAN. Ya. ASEAN ada dasar ZOPFAN, Zone of Peace, Freedom and Neutrality. Apakah kita negeri yang berkecuali lagi? Ya. Itu impian Allahyarham Tun Abdul Razak. Tetapi kita sekarang tidak merupakan sebuah negeri berkecuali. Kita terlibat di negeri Yaman. Ya. Hari ini saya dapat laporan tentang kesesaraan rakyat Yaman akibat daripada serangan daripada 40 rakan sekutu Arab Saudi. Sebab itu saya percaya apabila dikatakan bahawa wang telah diterima oleh MOO MOO itu macam lembu ya. Saya percaya sebab ini bukan sesuatu yang direstui oleh bangsa-bangsa bersatu. Ya, tidak ada majlis keselamatan bangsa-bangsa bersatu membuat keputusan untuk masuk Yaman. Ya. Apa yang berlaku beberapa 2 bulan yang lalu, di mana mereka cuba ada usaha untuk mengganti kerajaan di Qatar. Ya. Jadi dunia ini telah banyak berubah. Kalau kita serius, kita dalam kawasan negara yang berkecuali, kita harus berkecuali. Kita tidak patut menjadi boneka mana-mana kuasa luar, sama ada Amerika Syarikat ataupun dari Eropah ataupun daripada China. Ya. Ini saya rasa cara yang selamat, itu jalan yang bertanggungjawab pada masa depan untuk kita hidup sejahtera, damai. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Profesor Dr. KS Jomo. Baiklah, tanpa membuang masa, sebelum itu saya sekali lagi ingin memberi makluman kepada para hadirin sekalian. Institut Rakyat ada mengeluarkan sebuah policy paper hasil dapatan kajian mengenai isu investments of China in Malaysia. Jadi anda boleh dapatkan booklet tersebut di belakang. Okey, dah habis. Okey, tak apa, kalau dah habis anda bolehlah pergi ke belakang, isi borang dan kemudian kita akan hantarkan kepada anda jika anda mahukan policy paper hasil dapatan kajian Institut Rakyat ini. Baiklah, tanpa membuang masa, majlis ingin menjemput yang amat berbahagia Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad untuk memberikan pandangan beliau atas isu investments of China in Malaysia. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera kepada hadirin sekalian. Yang berhormat Nurul, Izzah, Anwar, Profesor Dr KS Jomo, Encik Azrul Azwar, Dev kehormat, tuan-tuan puan-puan hadirin sekalian, saya ingin ucap terima kasih kepada Institut Rakyat yang telah beri tempat kepada saya dalam forum yang akan membincang impact of China's investments in Malaysia. Adanya tajuk ini bermakna kita berasa tidak begitu senang dengan kemasukan investment daripada negara China. Sebenarnya seluruh dunia khawatir apabila melihat negara China menjadi begitu kaya dan dengan kekayaannya menjadi begitu kuat. Saya telah hadir dalam beberapa forum antarabangsa. Tidak pernah soalan sama ada saya khawatir ataupun tidak berkenaan dengan negara China yang tidak disoal. Semua forum bertanya saya, what do you think? What do you think of China's rise and achievements in the economy dan juga in military strength? Saya sebenarnya selalu pertahankan negara China. Cerita saya ialah berkenaan dengan experience Malaysia. Saya menceritakan bahawa kita telah ada hubungan dengan negara China selama lebih kurang 2000 tahun. Tetapi dalam jangka masa 2000 tahun itu, China tidak cuba menakluk, menawan dan menjajah Malaysia. Sebaliknya, apabila Portugis datang ke Melaka pada tahun 1509, 2 tahun kemudian mereka datang dengan satu pasukan laut dan mereka conquered and colonized Melaka. I asked them, whom should we be afraid of? Siapa yang patut kami berasa takut? Negara China lebih dekat tapi tidak pernah menjajah kami. Bangsa Eropah 8,000 batu jauh daripada Malaysia datang saja ke Malaysia, mula menakluk kita, menjajah kita. That was my answer almost to every question. What is my view about the expansion of China? That is absolutely true. And as to foreign direct investment, saya fikir Malaysia invented foreign direct investment. Dia bermula dengan Dr. Lim Chong Yu yang membawa masuk elektronik industri ke Pulau Pinang. Sejak itu kita sering mempelawa ramai pengusaha asing untuk datang ke Malaysia dan guna Malaysia sebagai pengkalan untuk manufacture of goods for the world market. We welcome them. Sebenarnya pertumbuhan ekonomi Malaysia banyak bergantung kepada foreign direct investment. Mereka membawa capital, mereka membawa teknologi, mereka membawa kecekapan pengurusan industri besar-besaran dan mereka tahu akan pasaran dunia so that they can manufacture in Malaysia and export and make a lot of profits for themselves. Kita sebenarnya mengalu-alukan mereka demikian sehingga kita tidak pun kena cukai kepada mereka. They come in tax free for 10 years, and if they apply, they can have another 10 years tax free operation in Malaysia. That is our attitude towards foreign direct investment. Kita mengalu-alukan kedatangan mereka, dan kerana mereka lah maka kita dapat jadikan negara kita sebuah negara industri yang mengekspor begitu banyak barangan sehingga pada satu masa we became either the 7th or the 17th biggest trading nation in the world, hasil daripada FDI. Apabila orang-orang Cina sudah bangun industri mereka, mempunyai teknologi yang canggih, mempunyai wang yang banyak, dan mereka ingin melabur di Malaysia, kita mengalu-alukan kedatangan mereka. Tetapi apabila kita fikir tentang tafsiran the meaning of foreign direct investment, we find something disturbing. Sementara kita mengalu-alukan kemasukan modal dan teknologi untuk memberi peluang pekerjaan kepada pekerja-pekerja kita, melatih pekerja-pekerja kita, dan juga pengurus dan engineer-engineer kita, kita tidak berasa curiga dengan kemasukan foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment does not include buying up huge pieces of land in Malaysia to build great cities which Malaysians cannot afford to pay for, dan mereka terpaksa jual these cities to other people, foreigners. Sebab sebenarnya tidak ada negara di dunia yang terbuka kepada kemasukan imigran. Hari ini kita lihat Mr. Trump nak dirikan tembok between Mexico and America. America has a population of 360 million. Even if the Mexicans move in, they are not going to dilute the Americans. But Trump is not happy with too many immigrants coming into their country. One of the reasons for Brexit, as pointed out by the Professor Jomo just now, was because of foreign workers coming into England. So many foreign workers, most of them are from Europe. Same color of skin, same religion and all that, but they still feel unhappy. They do not want foreign workers because they take away the opportunities from the British workers. So they thought that if they don't become a member of the European Union, they can stop foreign workers coming into their country. No immigration. The same thing with all the European countries. The Arab countries are even worse. They don't allow foreigners to buy land in Arab countries. You may stay there for 3 generations, but you may not own land. Land is the exclusive right of the Arab citizen to own. Even if the Arabs come from other Arab states, but the Arabs can own land, but non-Arabs cannot. So the desire to keep out people from any country is common to everyone. Semua negara tak nak orang asing masuk dan menjadi warga negara ataupun memiliki hak dalam negara mereka. Kebanyakan tidak dapat citizenship kerana mereka khawatir kalau orang asing ini mengambil alih negara mereka. So when Malaysia feels worried about forest city, it is not that we don't welcome foreign direct investment. We welcome, but this is different. Dia berbeza kerana ini terlibat pemilikan tanah yang begitu luas sehingga boleh menempat 700,000 orang. Dan cara pembangunan itu begitu luxurious supaya tidak mungkin rakyat tempatan membeli dan tinggal di sana. Untuk bandar yang besar ini 700,000 perlulah orang asing dibawa masuk. Ini bermakna kita perlu ada loose immigration policy. We don't have that before, but now because of certain circumstances, certain policy changes by the government, we welcome foreign ownership of land, valuable land in our country. In Johor, in Kuala Lumpur, in Melaka, in Pahang, even in Langkawi. It is estimated that this development would accommodate some 3 million immigrants. Now, when you have 3 million immigrants, there's bound to be some unpleasantness, clashes. We, for example, we don't know how to put up Indonesia's flag. We don't know whether red is above. And they get very angry. They get very angry and they demonstrated in Jakarta. Now, I think Indonesia is okay, but if we make China angry, I think if you look at the map, China is that big, Malaysia is that big. Even if every one of us join the armed forces and carry big guns, it's not going to be a match for China. We want to be friendly with China. I think the Chinese do not dislike me, I would say that. I think some of them think a lot about Malaysia. So we had a policy of being friendly with China. But being friendly doesn't mean that we should sell our country to foreigners. It's not because they are Chinese. It's not because they are Chinese. We are familiar with the Chinese. But if they want to bring in 3 million Bangladeshis, I would suspect they would cast votes in the next election. Even if you bring in Arabs, although they have a lot of money, they can give away 2.6 billion to friends and all that, I would still feel very uncomfortable. So we are not anti-Chinese or anti-China. I am very, very proud that today China has showed the West that what the West can do, China can do, and do it better. This is the Asian century. The world which had been for 400 years Eurocentric will now become Asia-centric. And that will be because of countries like China. It is amazing. Saya buat lawatan ke negara China dalam tahun 60-an. I was there, but I found that they were so backwards. They only go around in bicycle on 6-lane highways. The 6-lane highways is meant for military trucks. My good friend Lee Kuan Yew, of our neighbor in the south, once told me, when I visited Singapore, he told me, tak payah takut, don't be afraid of China. They are so backward. They cannot even do anything. They are so far behind us. Nothing to be afraid of. But Kuan Yew never imagined the progress that can be made by China. You know, even in Malaysia, the Chinese are the most dynamic community. What we see around us is mainly from the Chinese community. We have in Malaysia 26% or 30% of the population in Malaysia is Chinese. But I don't know how many millions altogether. But imagine that kind of Chinese, these dynamic people with rapid acquisition of knowledge and skills. There are 1.4 billion of them. I think the world will not be able to challenge China. Already their scientists are developing, inventing, producing all kinds of new products. And also we find that some of the great scientists of the US are of Chinese origin. China has been the Middle Kingdom for 4,000 years, the center of the world. That's what is meant by the Middle Kingdom. We in Malaysia, the Malay states, had good relations dengan negara China. The sultans visit China, and you know, in our tradition, we exchange gifts, and among the gifts they get would be a concubine or one or two concubines. So we find some of our royalty in this country will have very mixed parentage. So Malaysia is able to live together. That is a remarkable thing. People don't really recognize this. They should recognize this. When we became independent in 1957, 60 years ago, the British told us, I was still alive at that time, I was around, I heard about this. They said, this country will go to the dogs. The poor Malays will rob the Chinese of all their property, nationalize everything. That's what the British expect. And some Malaysians, senior Malaysians, also believe that the country will be totally unstable because we have 3 different races who follow 3 different religions, speak in 3 different languages, and have 3 different cultures. The British concluded that this country will go up in flames. But our founding fathers were very smart. Tunku Abraman, Tan Cheng Lock, K.L. Devasa, and the rest, they decided that we should share this country. The idea of sharing was mooted by them. If anyone tries to take 100% for himself, this country will never grow. And that 100% would be very, very small. Whereas if we share, each slice of cake that we share will grow bigger than the whole cake over time. So the idea of sharing is a great idea. And because of that, despite the multiracial population of Malaysia, this country has been peaceful, relatively peaceful, and has developed very well. Of course, we are not yet a developed nation, but if you compare with the other countries which gained independence together with us, they are very, very far behind us, except, of course, Singapore. So you can see that we have made a very good, or we have formulated a very good formula for working together, living together, playing together. Of course, we decided in Malaysia that we should retain our identities. We should remain Chinese or Indian or Malays. We don't like assimilation, but we can live together. Of course, it becomes very difficult to create a truly Malaysian identity. But I think the retention of our ethnic or national identity has benefited Malaysia. Yeah, we still know that we are Malaysian Chinese, Malaysian Indians, and Malaysian Malays. But we can get along very well. So far, we have done that. But we shouldn't disturb the balance. Today, the balance is just nice. The Chinese basically control the economy. The Malays are able to do better in politics. They are not the Tuan, because they talk about ketuanan Melayu. Saya tak percaya kepada ketuanan Melayu. I used to tell Ibrahim Ali that if you are the driver, it is the guy behind you who is the Tuan. So don't call yourself. Now we have to accept reality. If you want to be Tuan, you must work hard. You must be competitive. You must get good education. You must have good value system. It is value system which determine whether we are successful or not. If we have the right value system, I'm quite sure today the development of all the races will be at the same rate. There will be no distinction between Malaysian and Chinese as to their level of wealth, and this country will become a truly united country despite retaining our racial origins. Malaysia is a model for the rest of the world. It used to be a lot of people used to come to Malaysia. They ask me, hey, how can your country develop? Huh? But I told them that we are willing to share. Kita kongsi. If you try to take everything for yourself, you will lose. For example, if the Malays had nationalized all Chinese holdings, I'm quite sure this country will not develop the way it has developed. The contribution of the Chinese community to the development of this country cannot be denied. But at the same time, the willingness of the Malays to accept, to share this country with other people is the contribution on the part of the Malays. The Indians also have their contribution, and many of the professionals are Indian. Of course, a lot of them are also laborers, but they need to be looked after, the laborers. They need to be given some kind of help so that they can catch up with the other communities. So I have no problem with Chinese investment in Malaysia, but if it is too big, you may find a certain desire to protect your investment. You know, if the Americans build a nuclear power plant in a country, and that country is invaded by Russian, America claims a right to protect their investments there. That can cause a clash. So we don't want any country to defend us, to defend their investments in this country, and in the process, of course, we lose somewhat the control over our own country. So I would say this, that while we welcome Chinese investment into Malaysia, it should be balanced by investments from other countries, and we should also ensure that the investments give us benefit in terms of job opportunities and wealth creation for our people. So this is the way the world is going to be. I believe that in 100 years' time, every country would be like Malaysia. They will all be multiracial, simply because people today are very mobile. Where before it takes 3 months to 6 months to sail from China to Malaysia, now it takes 3 hours from Kunming. So people are mobile, borders are porous, and people want to go and live where life is more pleasant. So people in rich countries must expect the inflow of foreigners that they are seeing today from Syria. So thank you very much for giving me this.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Yang Amat Berbahagia Tun Dr Mahathir atas pandangan beliau sebentar tadi mengenai isu investment of China in Malaysia. Baiklah, seterusnya kita akan membuka ruang ini untuk soal jawab daripada hadirin yang dihormati sekalian. Sebelum itu, saya ingin ingatkan kepada hadirin yang dihormati untuk memastikan soalan yang diajukan kepada mana-mana para panelis kita pada malam ini basically short and simple lah. Keep it short and simple and very precise as well. Kita akan mengumpul 3 buah soalan, dan selepas mengumpul hanya 3 buah soalan, baru mana-mana para panelis akan boleh mula menjawab. Baiklah, boleh saya dapatkan soalan yang pertama daripada para hadirin yang ingin menanyakan sebarang soalan kepada para panelis kita pada malam ini? Okey, terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum, selamat malam. Saya Muin. Soalan saya kepada Tun Dr Mahathir seorang saja. Ada 3 soalan sebenarnya. Yang pertama berkenaan dengan, saya ingin tahu pandangan Tun lah secara peribadi, ya. Bukan sebagai pengurusi Pakatan Harapan, bukan sebagai ahli parti Peribumi Bersatu. Ini pandangan Tun secara peribadi. Apa yang akan Tun lakukan kepada projek hartanah yang telah pun terlepas ke tangan bangsa asing ini? Sebagai contoh Forest City, ya, Pelaburan Kuantan, Melaka. Adakah Tun akan mengambil alih projek-projek ini daripada penguasaan asing sekarang? Yang kedua berkenaan dengan Proton, ya. Adakah Tun akan mengambil alih kembali 49.9% pegangan saham Proton yang sekarang ini dah beralih ke tangan Geely, China? Dan yang ketiga berkenaan dengan ECRL. Apa pendirian Tun sekiranya Tun memiliki kuasa? Adakah Tun akan membatalkan projek ECRL 100% ataupun Tun akan cuba mengambil pendekatan untuk mengambil pelaburan daripada negara lain selain daripada China? Sekian, terima kasih.
Okey, terima kasih. Baiklah. Boleh saya dapatkan soalan yang kedua? Oh, you want to answer first? Okey, okey.
maybe even to cancel some, we may have to pay compensation. But it is better to pay compensation than to carry this horribly huge $200 billion borrowings that this government has done. See, borrowing 200 billion. It's going to take us more than 50 years of tightening our belts in order to pay for this loan. So we will negotiate to find whether we can put a stop to this East Coast Railway, for example, or for the high-speed train. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. The other one is berkenaan dengan proton. Saya sedih kerana proton was doing relatively well for a developing country. No other developing country in the world has been able to produce a motor car of a standard that is the same as those of developed country. The proton car that is in the market today has all the features of cars coming in from other countries. The only thing it doesn't have is it doesn't conform to Euro 5 or Euro 6, which we can do if you are prepared to pay the price. So I would say that if I cannot get proton, I have some idea about starting another automotive industry. Remembering, of course, that the idea of building a national car bukan kerana nak buat national car saja, tetapi dia jadi satu catalyst for growing our engineering know-how and capability. Kerana proton, ramai sudah syarikat-syarikat yang membuka untuk mengeluarkan components and parts for the car. A car needs 4,000 parts. So all those things provide opportunities for people to manufacture. Nowadays, people who produce cars merely assemble parts that are brought in by others. It's the same with aeroplanes. Malaysia contributed towards A380. Parts of it is built in Malacca. I don't know whether you know that. But today, building an aircraft means sourcing all the parts from everywhere, and the producer, Airbus, is known as airframer. They just take the parts and they assemble the plane. But the opportunities given to manufacture is very great. And with a motor car, we have developed engineering capability. Now that we don't have our own car, our local vendors will close down and we will regress in terms of engineering know-how. Thirdly, berkenaan dengan pelaburan. Yeah, I think what there is we have to accept, but if we can pare down a little bit, not so big, and not where it involves no opportunities for us to work or to provide parts and components, etc. I think those should be pared down so that they become small enough for our small country. And of course, we'll try to invite other people to come to Malaysia to balance the investment in Malaysia. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih diucapkan kepada Tun. Baiklah, soalan yang kedua. Okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Tulsi. I have a question for YB Nurul Izzah. If YB, you were always a good critic of Tun Mahathir, but today you sit on the same stage and you're working with him and advocating on the same issues. And why is that, if I may ask? And I have another question for you, Prof. Jomo. Prof. Jomo, if the advisors, if the economic advisors of the government is here in the hall today, what is your clear-cut advice to them on the projects that you have been critical about in regards to China? Thank you.
Would you like to answer that now? Yeah, okay.
Thank you for the question. I think I'm just going to say something short as an answer and then pass it on to Professor K.S. Jomo. One of the key guiding principles that has united many leaders across the political spectrum is the reform agenda. I think when we talk about the subject matter, which is China's investments, perhaps unregulated, to borrow Prof. Jomo's words, akin to giving a blank check to a particular foreign power, foreign economy. Certainly, it requires a lot of rigorous analysis, requires a lot of oversight. So because of this, I think the reform agenda is very crucial. You want to provide adequate checks and balances on the government of the day, whether federal or the state level. And one can only do so by winning the next elections. And one of the key efforts towards realizing a win is to unite all forces against the current government. But this doesn't mean you give everyone a free pass. So of course, like I said, there's going to be strict regulations in terms of what we need to do to reform Malaysia, to ensure we maximize our potential. And with that, I think that's sufficient as an answer. I pass my microphone to K.S. Jomo.
Thank you very much. I think since I'm not a politician, I should make clear that whatever criticisms I may have had of Tun Mahathir, they were always honest criticisms. And I also never doubted his intentions. I've always considered him to be a patriot, to have the interests of the country foremost. And I think this is very important now because of the aspersions which are being cast, particularly in relation to what happened in 1992. In 1985, the big five countries got together in the Plaza Hotel in New York, and they decided among themselves that the dollar was too strong and the yen and the Deutschmark should appreciate. The result of that was that the alignment of currencies changed very fundamentally. So I think it made sense to have what is called active reserve management policy. Active reserve management policy, rather than simply believing that the status quo is going on forever. Now, mistakes may have been made, and I do not doubt that mistakes have been made, but the intention was always honorable. I think this is very important. If you look at all my comments, even when the 1992 Bank Negara report came out in 1993, my questions was on the question of the transparency, and I never expected the full story to be completed then. Because when you take positions in any markets, especially if they are medium-term positions, you do not realize the positions overnight. So you can make money, for example, on you can lose money on the exchange rate, but make money on the interest rate. And all those things need to be assessed. So I think what we are seeing is a trial by a one-sided media, which is not being fair to many of the people concerned. There are a lot of people who are going to suffer collateral damage, and this, I think, is very unfortunate. Of course, this is not the time to discuss this further, but I think it is important to remember that whatever criticisms I've made, and I've certainly made a lot of criticisms, and I will not deny that, I have never doubted his good intentions. In fact, somebody once said to me, "You are the last Mahathirist." And let me explain to you, it's a serious point, because you are he's referring to me, he said, "You are the only one who believed in his project to modernize Malaysia." You know, I once made a speech comparing Tun Mahathir with Deng Xiaoping. Okay, they both started off around the same time, and the intentions were to modernize the country, to take the country, if you will, into the 21st century. And this was the intention. Okay, I'm not saying that they were successful throughout. Even Deng Xiaoping was not completely successful. You know, but I think that was always the intention. So my criticisms were on the question, what was being done in the name of those noble intentions. And as far as international policies are concerned, I've always been a very strong supporter of many things which were pursued. In fact, the second time I met Dr. Mahathir was after the massacre in the Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon, after Sabra and Shatila in 1982. And you know, I was very impressed by his seriousness of commitment and so on. So there are many things. I mean, you can go through a long list of criticisms which I've made, but the question is not you know, my intention was always that we should go further. And I appreciated the Look East policy, for example, when nobody else was appreciating the Look East policy, because the intention was that we shouldn't just learn from the West. We should also learn from other sources. And this is something which was very committed. He established, had the first South Summit in Kuala Lumpur. The South Commission was launched from Kuala Lumpur, and so on and so forth. So there are many, many other things which I think any fair assessment of Tun Dr Mahathir's career would force us to look at. As far as the other question,
she asked about just economic policy and moving forward. If you could meet up with an economist from government,
yeah.
what would you suggest?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the big challenges to answer the second question is the fact that, you know, I speak to many well-intentioned people, you know, and basically they have no faith that this is a government with more honorable intentions, you know. Everything is seen as jobs for the boys, projects for the boys, and so on and so forth. There is no sense that there is a higher purpose, that is the national interest which is being served, that we are trying to move to a higher level of development, and so on. So, you know, so there's a strong sense that you know, it is always something where there's an ulterior motive. So there's a huge trust deficit. There's huge trust deficit. There are very few people in the world, in the country. And this, I say, is across ethnic groups. Across ethnic groups. It's not a question of Chinese or Indians or Malays only. Across ethnic groups, there is a great trust deficit in this country. And so this is going to be, you know, any government, whether the present government, if it succeeds in the forthcoming election, or a new government, will have to overcome this trust deficit, because the people are cynical. The people have become very, very cynical about the intentions of politicians. So this is a big problem which we all will need to face going forward. And it is crucial, therefore, that that this trust deficit be overcome. If the opposition is going to succeed, it has to overcome that trust deficit. And it's not just a matter of empty promises, it is also by demonstrating that they are serious about it. So I think that we have to begin to think about many things which we have not really thought about before. For example, the relationship between the peninsula and Sabah and Sarawak. The aspirations of people in Sabah and Sarawak have been quite different, and we have not necessarily responded to them in the best way possible. So I think this is one element which will have to change. In my last book on Malaysia at the age of 50, 4 years ago, I tried to address some of these issues, but I'm sure there are many other issues which need to be addressed. And at that time, I never expected what has happened in the intervening years, in the last few years, to have deteriorated to the level we have. So I think these are some of the challenges. So I think we have a lot of people who are honest people, who have good intentions, including people who try to advise the government, but there is no sense that things will necessarily improve. I wish I could say otherwise. Even my old friends, people I studied together with and so on and so forth, who are in government, who are, there is a sense of despondency, let's just hold on to what we can. There's a sense of cari makan or curi makan, there's no sense of higher purpose. And that, I think, is what distinguishes the current state of affairs from what prevailed in the past. One of the areas where I have to admit that I disagreed with your father on was on the question of the response to the 97-98 crisis. On that, I was very much with Tun Mahathir on. But I think at the end of the day, by early 1998, I do believe that Datuk Sri Anwar had changed his mind, and he had begun to realize the folly of the IMF policies when the ringgit went down to 4.88 against the dollar. And and you begin to see that in the second quarter. Unfortunately, I think the trust within the government was broken. And this is a story which only other people can tell better than me. So let me stop here. Thank you.
Saya hanya ingin menambah kerana kita banyak bercakap tentang sejarah. But I think looking forward for Malaysia as a young nation, masa depan masa kita, masa orang muda, masa generasi yang akan datang. And one of the key things I learned back in 1997, I won't touch on the economy, was the fact that pada tahun 1997, sebelum Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim dipecat, beliau telah menerbitkan buku Gelombang Kebangkitan Asia, The Asian Renaissance, which basically predicted the eventual rise of China. So for us today, being the main predictor of future trends to come, being able to carve out our vision as Malaysians in this beautiful region will ensure we remain most competitive and most successful. So as important as the past was, it is about learning from it and forging a clear-cut narrative and vision for the future. So for me, for the purposes of today, I'm asking all young Malaysians, orang muda di luar sana, kita yang harus bergerak dengan pantas untuk merencanakan masa hadapan berkait dengan wawasan kita, berkait dengan apa yang kita idamkan untuk memastikan Malaysia ini gemilang semula, insya-Allah. So for my regards, I have never basically rubbished wawasan 2020. I have a lot of disagreements with Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad, but I think having a vision, wanting an Asian Renaissance and predicting that China has come to the position it is today will determine how successful we can be as a nation.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Wabi Nurul Izzah dan Profesor Dr. Jomo. Baiklah, saya buka ruang untuk individu yang terakhir. Okay. Yes.
Salam hormat ahli-ahli panel yang dihormati. Dua soalan kepada saudara Profesor Jomo. Adakah rakyat Malaysia sedang mengalami satu fenomena yang dikatakan middle income trap? Apakah impaknya dan apakah solusinya? Soalan kedua, adakah dunia sekarang termasuk Malaysia akan menghadapi satu lagi financial crisis pada tahun 2018 yang dilaung-laungkan oleh setengah pihak ekonomis? Apakah ramalan Profesor? Dua soalan saya nak tuju kepada yang amat berhormat Tun. The One World One Belt policy initiated by China, adakah Tun setuju bahawa ini memberi banyak manfaat kepada rakyat Malaysia dari segi penglipatan pekerjaan, business opportunities, dan is there any negative impact? Okay, leave China alone. China is too big. Okay, dengan cadangannya berbagai RCI oleh ahli-ahli politik baru-baru ini, adakah negara kita sedang mengalami satu krisis pentadbiran negara? Adakah Tun merasa terkilan tentang ini? Is change possible? Tun may choose not to answer this question. Salam dan thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan. Baiklah, kita akan mulakan dengan Profesor dengan okey, kita akan mulakan dengan Tun.
Obor. Yeah. Actually, a long time ago, I had suggested and I even talked to Chinese leaders, including the present president, about how he could improve communication between China and Europe. You may notice that when the oil demand for oil was very big, ships were built to carry more and more oil. It almost reached 500,000 barrels for each ship. However, you will notice that with train, the trains remain the same size. But we need to have bigger capacities. So I wrote a letter to Xi Jinping and tell him that one of the things he can do to improve the Silk Road is to build a super train about 1.5 times or even 2 times the size of present train. We have the technology to do that now. Just imagine, the train is faster than a ship. The ship is bigger, but it takes a long time. I did not suggest the sea route which he planned. That comes from him. I think it is good for China to use the sea and the land. But the sea has always been open. South China Sea has never been blockaded, except during the Second World War. Otherwise, we have never tried to do anything, except one time Tunku Razali Hamza suggested that we should toll them. They pass through the Straits of Malacca, pay something to Malaysia and Indonesia. But of course, people say this is international waterway and you cannot charge anything. Okay, but you know, we have to spend money to keep the Straits of Malacca open and not be have oil spills and all that. Costs us a lot of money. But there is no need for any country to patrol the Straits of Malacca, the South China Sea. Because when you do that, you attract the opposite, the people who are not happy with you. So once you have patrols by China, you know what the US would do. Already they are challenging China. So leave the South China Sea and the Straits of Malacca alone. Let Malaysia look after them. Let Indonesia or Singapore look after, because it is near us. But there is no necessity for the sea route to be patrolled by warships from China or from America or from any other country. We can look after. So the land route should be developed further. And I think with our technology now, we can build super trains which can carry, which is 2 miles long and can carry goods, huge amounts of goods from China to Europe, from Europe to China, and from Central Asia, the vast natural resources there, iron ore, copper, and everything, can be transported out from these countries to China and to Europe, giving them a good income, and they can buy goods from China and goods from Europe at a lower price because transportation costs would come down. So on one hand, I agree with the land route, but I don't think we should have warships going around here. Very uncomfortable. Okay, the second question, what was that?
That was the only question he just added on. Yeah. I just wanted to add on before I pass on to Prof. Jomo, the fact that we are looking at the developments around the world, and for Sri Lanka, the new government that has taken over right now is hard-pressed to renegotiate the issue of ownership of the existing port built using public monies, but has been turned over in terms of control to a Chinese company for 99 years. So the issue is, the devil is in the details. You can certainly agree, everyone will be definitely welcoming investments, but the nitty-gritty of control, of running the process, and the eventual debt that's going to be laden on Malaysia factors in very, very heavily. So for me, any company will definitely want to profiteer, is ethically agnostic. But how do you ensure, as a government, you basically pin them down to the highest levels of regulations to provide for the best benefits to be accrued by your home country? So I think that's where the question is, when you don't really trust your government. Prof?
Let me be very brief on the second question, whether there's going to be a financial crisis in 2018. You know, you're just, my answer is just as good as one of those fortune tellers, little green birds, you know. In the old days, there were these little green birds the Indian fortune tellers used to bring out, and they would choose, you know. Nobody can predict when the next financial crisis will take place. But I think there are many, many vulnerable points. Everybody in the financial world is waiting for the Jackson Hole meeting this weekend. The Jackson Hole meeting is when the central bankers of the world will get together, and it is expected that the period which we have seen in the last 8 years of what is called QE, quantitative easing, is going to come to an end. This has already been announced by the chair of the US Federal Reserve, as well as by the Bank of England. The question is whether the rest of Europe will follow. The rest of Europe will follow basically because QE has not really worked. It has worked to redistribute income in favor of the rich. That is why today, 8 men own more than the bottom half of the world's population. Okay, 8 men, the 8 richest men in the world own more than the bottom half of the world's population, because these people are getting richer and richer by the millisecond. Okay, but besides that, there are many other structural deficits. The thing is that history never repeats itself. Okay, so we are not going to see a repeat of 2007, 2008. We are not going to see a repeat of 97, 98. It's going to be a new type of financial crisis. And it's very difficult to anticipate where the crisis is going to start and how it will unfold, because of the very complex nature of the international financial system today. To even call it a system, my professor used to say, we live in a non-system. Ever since Richard Nixon withdrew from the Bretton Woods system in 1971, we have had basically a system of financial anarchy. And since Robert Rubin basically killed the Glass-Steagall Act, the US has become a major part of this system. We need to, so we cannot, it's very difficult to sit here tonight or anywhere else and to try to predict when the next crisis is going to be. But we have to be vigilant, we have to prepare. And the way we are preparing right now is as if we are preparing for a repeat of 97, 98. It's not going to happen unless we are not stupid. Okay, people are not stupid. We are not going to have a recurrence of that. On the other question, whether it's a middle income trap, that's a very big debate. But my point is really that what we have seen is a middle income trap of our own making, because we have seen the beginnings of deindustrialization. At its highest point, manufacturing industry accounted for 1/3 of the national economy, of national economic output. Today, it's about 27%. Okay, down from 33% to 27%. And it's going down. It's continuing to go down. Okay, so this is the problem. It's not as if we are doing some other services which are very high value added. And this is the dilemma for the future. So we are still competing as if we are living in the 1970s and 1980s on the basis of relatively cheap labor and so on and so forth. And the only way we can do that is to bring the foreign workers in and then to pretend that they don't exist when we do our national income accounting. And that's kidding ourselves as much as kidding the rest of the world. And that, I think, is part of the problem. The issues, of course, in what is called the middle income trap are much more complex than what I've just said. But I think that is at the core of the problem. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Baiklah, terima kasih diucapkan kepada para panelis kita pada malam ini. Dengan berakhirnya sesi Q&A tadi, maka berakhirlah sudah program kita pada malam ini. Sebelum itu, saya mewakili Institut Rakyat ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada para hadirin yang sudi hadir untuk memeriahkan lagi acara ilmiah kita pada malam ini. Tidak lupa juga kepada KL Selangor Chinese Assembly House kerana sudi memberikan kami sebuah venue yang cukup selesa untuk menganjurkan program ini. Rakan-rakan media, selepas ini kita akan adakan sidang media di atas pentas. Tapi sebentar saja. Sebelum itu, sekali lagi saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada yang sudi hadir. Di belakang kaunter pendaftaran kami ada buka kaunter buku, jualan buku Yang Berhormat Nurul Izzah. Jadi kepada siapa yang berminat boleh dapatkan buku beliau. Jangan lupa juga untuk follow Facebook page Institut Rakyat bagi mendapatkan update-update terkini tentang research-research yang dijalankan oleh Institut Rakyat. Ladies and gentlemen, signing off. Thank you very much. Okay, friends.